Just quickly before the video starts, I'd like to mention these tree models will be available for free in my Discord server. You just got to join the server, go to the resources channel, and you can download these for free and use them in your own games. Okay, enjoy the video. It's been highly requested that I make a video showing you my process on how I make my pine trees in Blender. If you want to make trees like your favorite builders, then watch this video and I'll show you my personal process and you can follow along. It's a very simple modeling process, but if you're new, it can be a little more complicated for you. You press Shift A, or you go up here to add. You add a mesh, and then you add a cylinder. I add 8 sides to it here in this little pop-down window on the bottom left. I press Shade Smooth, and then I click this Auto Smooth button, and I move up the angle thing here until the sides are smooth shaded like this. I then press SZ to scale it up, and then I press Tab to go into object mode. Click this button to make it transparent. Select these top vertices. If you're not in vertice mode, then you can click 1 on your keyboard, and I scale it in a little bit like that. You can see this is going to be the trunk of our tree. I then again take a cylinder, make sure it still has 8 sides, shade smooth, make sure it's on auto smooth, and then I press S and I scale that up. What I want to do is I'm going to press 3 on my keyboard to go into face mode. You can see 1 vertice, 2 edge, 3 face mode. I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to go back into the transparency, go back to the vertice mode, and I'm going to widen this up, scale this in. I'm going to press Ctrl R for loop cuts. I'm going to scale this in with S, move it down, and then I'm going to do Ctrl B to bevel it. Now I'm going to select these, G, Z to move them down, and then S like this to scale them out kind of like this. I'm also going to scale down the top just to give it like this type of look, I guess. Just adjust the shape until it's something that you like. Then I'm going to press 7 on my numpad, or I'm going to click this little blue Z up here, it will take me to the top view. You press this button here for proportional editing, and I'm going to change the shape of this just a little bit. There we go. I might just take this edge loop and scale it in a little bit more, just to give it that shape, yeah. Alright, I'm then going to take some of these and I'm going to move them up and down like this. That should come along with some of these. Second one's moving a bit as well. Alright, I don't want to make it too pointy. You can see what I've done there. Next, I'm going to go into the modifier tab. I'm going to click on solidify, and I'm going to increase the thickness. And as you can see, the tree is really starting to come together now. I'm actually just going to scale this down just a little bit, because I like that flicked edge, you can see. Alright, so this is actually probably a good size for the bottom of the tree, you can see here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go onto here. We're going to click this knife tool. If you don't have this pop-up of things, there should be a little arrow up here that you just click. And we're going to add some cuts into the model to give it some more detail. So for example, here we are. Boom, we got a little cut. Make this one a little different like that. Oh, you want to press X and then delete faces. Don't delete vertices, don't dissolve faces, delete faces. Make sure you're clicking the right thing. Then we're going to go here, not on the corner, and we're going to do 2 cuts of different sizes. Now move these out however you think looks good. Like that. Yep. And then maybe one more thinner but longer one there. Alright. Make sure you space them out equally. I might move this one up like that and then out. Yeah, this is good. I'm happy with this. So as you can see, we have kind of the bottom of the tree now. I'm actually going to take this center part, and I'm just going to press G to move this out, and then Control B to bevel it a little bit. Just adds a little bit of, you know, wonkiness, I guess. If you've moved like your model to the side a little bit like this and you've got this shading error, all you got to do is press Control A and then apply the scaling, and that should fix it. By the way, if you need any help during this tutorial at all, join my Discord server in the description. I'm online for most of the time for Australian time zones. Ask a question and I'll be able to get back to you. So I'm now going to line this up and put it about here. We'll just scale it down a little bit because the trunk actually isn't that thick. I'm just gonna... You can always change the proportions later on. It's fine. I'm also gonna make it just a little bit thicker because I like that style. I like that look. Okay, maybe that's too thick. There we go. That's fine. Yep. So then we're gonna press Shift D. I'm gonna press SZZ. What this means is it scales along the local Z axis. So if I rotate it like this, I press SZ, this is going to scale along the world Z axis, but I do SZZ, it's along the model's Z axis. So I'm going to do ZZ, I'm going to make this a little bit taller, just a little bit thinner, and then I'm going to scale it down overall, and you can see the kind of effect we're making here, right? Now you also want to press RZZ to rotate it so it doesn't look as repetitive, and there we are. This is coming together. I'm just going to repeat that. SZZ, make it a little thinner, scale it down overall, rotate ZZ or RZZ. You can see what we're doing here. And then one final one, SZZ, scale that up. I'm just going to really come in here at the top to make it thin. I'm going to go on the this is only for the top one. You press I will inset the faces. You go to vertice mode with 1, press M. Oops, sorry, did not do that. Press M on your keyboard and then merge these vertices at the center, then bring them up. And that's going to create the top. Now, I'm also going to scale this down and probably scale this in to create the same effect that we already have. I'm going to make sure all these are like rotating around the trunk properly. This one probably needs to do that. This one needs to do that. And then here we are. Now you can combine all these if you'd like. You can control A the scale so the thickness isn't stretched, but personally I actually like it when the thickness stretches like this. You can see what I mean. This is kind of stretched down, this is a little flatter. I'm also just going to scale this in just a little bit so the proportions are matching up, and I'm happy with that. What some people do is they add another one at the bottom that's like actually wider but smaller, like this. I personally don't like that, but that's something you can do if you want to add some extra style to your tree. And then I'm actually going to take this bottom part, move it down a little bit so the trunk's bigger, and then give it like a little bit of a base there. You don't have to do this, but it's something I like. And there we go. Oh, I'm also, sorry, I forgot to rotate this. Make sure you always do that so it's not repetitive. And here we have a detailed low poly tree, which hopefully looks something like your favorite builders' low poly trees. I just texture it by importing it into whatever game engine I'm using. For me, it's Roblox Studio. I just import it and I color it in Studio. If you know how to export, you just do File, Export, FBX. That's the file format I use. And hopefully this looks good. If you want a quick tip, well, how do I make some variations of this tree? Well, I'll show you, right? You just select everything, Shift D to copy, move it along the X-axis. One of my favorite things people do here is they'll remove one of these top ones, right? And they'll make the tree just a little bit shorter. So if you want to make variations of your tree, you just copy it, make some slight changes to rotation and stuff like that, and you should be good. So you could make a variation on the tree like this. You could just Shift D, just remove the bottom one, rotate all these along the Z-axis, maybe mess with this just a little bit more, give it a different look. And yeah, that's how you make tree variations. It's pretty simple. You could redo these leaves if you want and give it a whole new look. I don't think that's necessary though. And scale these in. Just some simple variations of the same tree. That's all for today. I hope you're satisfied with your results. Again, if you have any questions, join the Discord server. I'll try to answer them for you. And if this helped you out, like and subscribe because that helps me out. Bye.